All right, guys, we are back in my garage for another video, and today we're going to be wrapping up the audio upgrades on my 440i. In a previous video, you guys might remember I shared how to install the Lightwave amplifier by Bimmertech, and that is a plug-and-play upgrade that gives more volume to your stock Harman Kardon speakers, and it was definitely a great upgrade. I was able to enjoy my music a lot more, but I knew there was a little bit left on the table. And so I shared with you guys that I was hoping to, kind of round out all of the upgrades. And today we're finally going to be installing the Alpha 1 speakers by Bimmertech. And so that means I'm going to be upgrading from this Harman Kardon style speaker to this Alpha 1 Bimmertech speaker. And I mean, you can even just tell when you're looking at it, the Bimmertech speaker is just way better quality, much better craftsmanship, and overall this is going to be a much better speaker to pair with their amplifier upgrade. And the good news is with this video, I'm also able to share with you guys that the Black Friday discount is officially being kicked off. It's going to be running from the point of this video being posted through December 31st, 2024. So literally the rest of the year, you have an opportunity to get up to 15% off of your order from the Bimmertech website. Now, this is the one time a year that they have this kind of sale. So if you're interested in making a purchase, click the link in the video description and use coupon code AOBF, kind of like the acronym for Alpha 1 Black Friday, AOBF Kern 417, and that will give you up to 15% off of your order. Now, of course, if you guys are watching this after Black Friday is over, there's still an opportunity to get the regular discount. Again, if you use my coupon code, you will be eligible to get their Essentials kit. That will give you basically some of the tools that you need to install some of these upgrades.
Now, as always, for everybody that's new to the channel, I create these videos to help keep you updated on the latest developments in our community, as well as discuss technical topics so that we have a better understanding of how our engines work. So if you're interested in more videos like that, be sure to subscribe because there will be a lot more coming out in the future.
Now, really quick, let's go over some details about the Alpha 1 speakers because this is a really worthwhile upgrade. I think a lot of people underestimate, especially when paired with the Lightwave amplifier. These speakers are designed to be completely plug and play, so no additional splicing of wires or anything like that. It literally plugs right into your stock harness. These also come with a 2-year warranty, so you'll be able to make sure if there are any issues in the first 2 years with craftsmanship or performance, Bimmertech will honor that warranty and replace any components that are found to be defective. But really, that's not something that commonly happens because these are built with really premium materials. They are just all around a really nice upgrade to beef up your stock Harman Kardon system. And you're going to be able to get much more clear sound, much more immersive sound. Instead of just having loudspeakers that you can hear, you're going to feel like you're actually being surrounded by the sound that's coming out of your car. And especially now that I've got the X7, it also has an upgraded sound system from BMW. And I can definitely tell with the extra speakers and the design for how they created that sound stage, there's definitely opportunity on the table with some of these, lower tier models that they don't put as many speakers and as much time into developing the sound system. So Bimmertech's really going to bring it to the next level so that we can get the perfect audio system we're looking for. Now, the full set comes with 16 speakers. That's every speaker that's going to be in your car, but there are a couple different options depending on what your priorities are. The first one, kind of the entry-level upgrade, is just the subwoofers under the seats. So it'll come with 2 additional speakers that you can swap out with your stock woofers to give your car a little bit more bass. Then they've got the front sound stage, which replaces the woofers, but it also comes with 3 mid-range speakers, 1 for each door, as well as the one on top of the dash, and 3 tweeters, again, for both doors and on top of the dash. Now, if you upgrade to the full system, they add in the 2 speakers that go into your rear doors, as well as the 2 speakers that go into the rear deck lid behind the rear seats, and then the 4 tweeters that are paired with them. So 16 speakers all around the car with the maximum efficiency and most clarity that you could be looking for. It's definitely a worthwhile upgrade if you want to perfect your sound system. Now, the easiest way to see what's available for your car is to go to the Bimmertech website, and you can simply put in your VIN and it will show you everything that's available for you. Keep in mind, they offer more than just sound systems. I'm a big fan of the amplifier and speakers, of course, but they also offer coating, retrofits, a lot of different things. Definitely jump on this offer. And again, a big thank you to Bimmertech for sponsoring this video. Now let's go ahead and get this installed on my car. All right, guys, so we are in the car, and the first thing we're going to do is start taking stuff apart. The reason is because I'm in a 4 Series, and because it's a coupe, I need to be able to move the seats forwards and backwards in order to actually access all the speakers. So if you have a 3 Series, this will be much easier. Normally, I would recommend disconnecting the battery first, but because I need to be able to access everything, we're going to keep the battery connected while we take all the panels off to actually access the speakers, and then we will actually disconnect the battery so we can remove and swap the speakers safely. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is remove this cover behind the windshield. So this is like your screen on the dashboard, and right behind it, there's this metal mesh that we're going to remove. So just take a plastic trim tool and pry it up on the corners, work your way around, and it should just start to pop up as you go around the perimeter. You can kind of see here, basically it has a clip on each corner. So as you pry on each corner, you'll be able to pop those out. And then you can see your speakers and your tweeter. Next, we're going to remove the door panel so that we can access the speakers behind it. Again, this door panel is huge because it's a coupe. So with a 3 Series door, it's going to be a little more manageable, but the process is pretty simple. We're going to start with unclipping this cover on the door handle. Then we're going to remove the 2 screws behind it and then pop off the panel all the way around the perimeter. There are a bunch of clips. And then at the top, there are a bunch of clips where we can basically pull it straight out. All right, so underneath here, there's like a little gap. I'm gonna stick this in there and twist. There we go. Perfect. So it looks like all the clips stayed on here, so you can pry those off individually and put them on the trim piece that you pulled off. But then after that, you've got a Torx bit in here, or a Torx screw, as well as one in here. So we're going to go ahead and remove both of those. And then, I don't even know how I'm going to film this or show it properly, but you've got to pop off the panel. Hopefully you guys can see around me, but basically use your trim tool and go between the panel and the door and work your way all the way around. At a certain point, you should be able to get your hand under there. There we go. And then on the top, there are clips. Normally, these kind of hook down and then all the bottom clips latch on, but there are actual clips in this direction. So really you need to pull it off this way. Watch your little door lock mechanism. You can push it down a little bit if it makes it easier to get the door off of it. But then, yeah, you pull it straight out this way, and then it kind of comes up and hooks off. Now we're gonna have some clips and stuff at the back that all need to be disconnected. Pull that out. Then down here, this is like the door latch mechanism. I'm actually going to unlatch it at this piece. Let's see if we pop this off. There we go, and unhook. Now I don't think you need to remove anything else, because if you come over here and unplug the speakers, then you'll be able to move the door panel the rest of the way out of your space. So we'll just leave it like this for now. All right, so next we're going to start working the back of the car. And again, because it's a 4 Series, everything's more difficult. So we're gonna flip this forward and then wait for it to get out of the way. So the first thing you need to do is lift up the bottom bench. So just pull straight up and push the seatbelt buckles through, and then this should just come straight out. Now again, for reference, my 4 Series guys know, but for everybody else, this is the panel that we're removing next. You can see the speaker and the tweeter. It is just a panel on there. On a 3 Series, you have your rear door trim that removes just like the front doors, but on a 4 Series, we have a little more work. So we removed the bottom of the seat. Now we're going to remove this side panel, what you do is kind of wedge your hand up here and pull straight out. And then it's kind of hooked into the bottom. So let's see, this piece will be kind of like hooked into this piece right here. So you basically pull it out from the tap, lift it up, and then it should come out. And then the last piece we need to remove is this upper black trim piece up here. So we actually need to fold these seats down. This upper trim piece that holds the seat belt in. So there are just these little push pins that we need to pop out. And then it has a little clip back here, so you'll have to pull it out to get it off of that clip. So we're going to remove this little bit of weather stripping that's kind of going over it. There we go. And then the clip should be right behind here. There we go. Okay. And then again, let's see, there are some clips and things that we need to remove. So first of all, when you're lifting it, if you're feeling under here, make sure you're reaching around the foam. You don't want to separate it from the foam. I was kind of feeling that as I was working my way around. But yeah, we've got a wire here. So let's unclip that. Now next we look behind the rear seats, and we've got additional speaker grills. These are going to remove just like the ones on top of the dash. So you basically just get a pry tool underneath the edge of the grill and then pry it up and pop it off, and you'll be able to see the speaker and tweeter inside. Now, the last two speakers we're going to swap are actually hidden because underneath these two front seats, you have a subwoofer mounted in the floor. So what we're going to do is lift up the seats. You don't actually have to completely remove them. Just remove the 4 bolts that are holding them onto the floor and lift them up and tilt them back so that we can access the speakers that are down on the floor. Now, the only annoying part about this, like I said, we've got to move the seats forward and back. So we've got them moved all the way forward so we can access the rear 2 bolts, and then after that we'll move the seats all the way back so we can access the front 2 bolts. And these are going to be T50 screws. Alright, and here is our speaker. Ignore all the dirt and stuff, but that's where we're going to get into. So now what we're going to do is remove these 4 screws, 1 on each corner, in order to get this speaker grill off. Sometimes you need to peel it back a little bit to get access to the screws that are holding this down. And so you can see here's one. It's like these little screws. So we're going to remove these and then we'll be able to pull the speaker out. These screws are kind of long, so just take your time with them. It's kind of annoying. There we go, and we've got our first speaker out. So, matter of fact, let's start removing all of these. The process should be pretty much the same. They all are just kind of held on by screws. And then on this one, we've got one clip. There's this plug holding it in. So basically we're gonna pinch the connector. As always, nearly impossible to do with one hand, but hopefully you can see that. Pinch the connector, and then you should be able to pull it out.
Hey you, don't be a silly goose. This job requires disconnecting electrical connectors, so that means that it's a good idea to disconnect the negative terminal on your battery. This will make sure that you minimize the chance of causing electrical issues while you're in the process of doing this DIY. So pop open your trunk, open up the battery access panel, and grab a 10mm socket to loosen the negative terminal on your battery. I also highly recommend putting a microfiber towel on top of the battery so that you don't inadvertently complete the circuit while you're in the middle of the job. And it's a good idea to put a microfiber towel through the trunk latch so that you can avoid closing the trunk by mistake. Alright, now let's go ahead and get back to the DIY.
So now the new speaker, I'm gonna go ahead and plug it into here. So it plugs in just like the stock one. Then slide it underneath the carpet. Line up all of our screw holes. There we go. So yeah, tighten all this down, and then put your seat back down, tighten your seat bolts. I'll put the torque specs in the video description, and that way you know that you've got it mounted properly. So let's go ahead and replace the door speaker, and this one has 3 T20 screws around the perimeter, so we'll remove all of those. Alright, then we'll pull the speaker out, just like that. And then we've got these 2 plugs on top to disconnect. They should just pull out. Now, when you replace these, the front and rear speakers for your door panels, or the front door and rear panel, if you have a 4 Series, they're the same. You know you've got the right ones because they've got this kind of foam around the perimeter. So these are different than the ones on top of your dashboard and the rear deck lid, but that's how you know these 4, the 2 front and 2 rear speakers, are the right ones. And then just above the speaker we have this tweeter, so we're going to go ahead and pull this off. It should pull straight out. Carefully. Now the actual speaker is inside of this, so you're going to flip it over and pull out this foam. Actually, we can take this wire off. There we go. So it's kind of routed around there to hold it all together. But anyway, let me take the foam off. And this is your tweeter. And there are these little tabs. I don't know if you can see them, but there's one like up here, one right here. And so you're going to pry those out a little bit while you pull this out. This is another one. I need 2 hands to do it, but you can use kind of like 2 screwdrivers or something to jam it into each of the 4 corners and pry it out. And then the speaker should pop off. There we go. Easy enough. And there's our tweeter. And then now we're going to try to connect our new tweeter in the same way. So it should basically just snap into here. We've got a little alignment tab, so make sure that tab goes in there. And then push it in. There we go. Alright, I watched my video back, so now I know how it goes. So this slides onto here, And this wire is going to come through this opening, and then it runs along this channel, and it goes around this corner, and then wraps around the back this way, and then sticks out like that. So up, over, wrap around, and a loop right here. So then we'll push this all back on. Make sure none of the wires are sticking out so they don't get pinched or anything. And we'll hook this on back here. And then again, we've got our Alpha 1 speaker with the foam on the edge, so we know that's the one that installs here. And we've got 2 connectors on here. So the first one we need to plug into this wiring harness, and it tells us which side goes to that chassis, which is the amp in, and which side goes to the actual speaker, which is the mid out. So we'll take the mid out and plug it into here. And then this other end is going to go to the blue wire harness that the original speaker plugged into. And then lastly, that second plug up here is going to plug into the tweeter. And you just get all the holes lined up, and we'll screw this back into place. Now, especially for this harder piece, you can imagine it'll want to rattle if you don't secure it. So I recommend zip tying it or like taping it right here, basically somewhere out of the way. Just get a piece of felt tape, put it on top of here, and that way you can make sure that it's not moving. Now for the rear panel, of course, it's very much the same. Just flip it over, and instead of it being bolted to the car, it's actually attached onto the panel itself. So same deal. You got 3 screws to remove, and then unclip the tweeter.
So this is bolt. I put it. The last bolt.
Careful.
Made it. This is the old speaker.
This is the new speaker.
At the new speaker. So there's some glue from something and me and my dad are going to try to cut it off. That's the last one. Add the new one. Oh, I heard a click. Ooh.
Here we go.
That's a big click.
Now in here, it's pretty much, again, the same. You've got a couple screws holding on your speaker, as well as your tweeter. So we're going to remove these. And it really helps if you've got a really small 1/4-inch screwdriver like this one that can get into these tight spaces, because a regular screwdriver with adapters and stuff won't fit behind the windshield like this. And then once you've removed all the screws, you can simply just lift the parts out. So let's see, this tweeter comes out like this. And if you pull it, the attachment on the speaker should come out as well. So we're going to plug in the amp inside to here. Tuck this down, and then this is going to plug into your speaker. We also have our tweeter, which will also plug into our speaker. So we bring this over, plug in one, and then plug in the other. Just watch your connectors because they only go in one orientation. And then tuck all this down. There is like a little bit of routing that you can use down here for the wiring so it doesn't get too bunched up. And that's kind of where the factory tweeter wires go. And then we can tuck all of this back down here under the dash. And then yeah, we'll just screw it right back down, just like the stock one. And then at this point, we can just pop the grill back on. So line up all the clips and push. And this is the same for this front as well as the two rear speakers in the rear deck lid. They're basically the exact same process. So yeah, now we've got everything installed, and again, kind of like my last video, I don't really have a great way to share with you guys the improvement that comes with this upgrade, but I can definitely say it delivers on exactly what it's advertised to do. The sound just feels much more immersive. I feel like I've got a proper surround sound system. I can hear sound coming from all the directions, whereas before it might have felt like most of it was coming from the front doors. Now I'm feeling more bass. I'm feeling more treble, like everything is coming from everywhere around me, like 360 degrees of sound coming to my ears. So again, kind of hard to describe. Hopefully, if you guys are interested in this upgrade, you kind of understand what I'm trying to describe anyway. But this is just kind of like the icing on the cake. This really takes it to the next level so that you don't only have loud audio, but you also have clear audio with clean bass. You know, no nasty harshness or anything that you wouldn't want in your sound system, just really clean, crisp sound. So again, a big thank you to Bimmertech for sponsoring this video. And if you guys are interested in making a purchase, don't forget to click the link in the video description. That's the best way to make sure you're getting the biggest discount possible. And don't forget to use my coupon code AOBF Kern417 to get a discount of up to 15% off of your order. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions or comments, leave them down below.